The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure. They are the sole object of my bhajan and worship. Her lotus feet are the wealth of my life. They are the ornament of my life, and, indeed, the very life of my life. Her lotus feet are the treasure house of Brass, the attainment of my desires, and the conclusion of all the Vedas. Her lotus feet are the goal of my vows and austerities, the object of my recitation of mantra, and the purpose of all my religious activities. When providence becomes favorable, I shall attain Jiva Manjari's lotus feet, and behold them with these two eyes. The abundant sweet beauty of Sri Rupa Manjari's lotus feet will shine like the moon upon the blue lotus of my heart, causing it to blossom in jubilation both day and night. Your absence from my vision is like a snake that has corroded my body with poison. The remaining days of my life will pass in the burning fire of separation. Alas, O Sri Rupa Goswami, be merciful and give me the shade of your lotus feet. There, Naratam, sleeping shepherd. You don't want to sing for you die? I can do it one. We can do more and then we can do this together. Okay. Page 339. Vande Vishwam Bharatvada Kamalam Vande Vishwam Bharatvada Kamalam
Vande Vishwam Harapadakamalam Kandita Kalijuga Janamala Samalam Kandita Kalijuga Vande Vishwam Harapadakamalam Sorabhakashi Sita Nija Janamadrupam Nija Janamadrupam Sorabhakashita Nija Janamadrupam Karunam Kandita Virahabhitapam Vande Vishwam Harapadakamalam Nashitadigata Mayati Miram Varanija Kandita Jagatamachiram Vande Vishwam Harapadakamalam Satata Virajita Nirupamasobham Shatata Virajita Nirupamashobham Radha Mohana Kalita Vilobham Radha Mohana Kalita Vilobham Vande Vishwam Parapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Parapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Parapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Kandita Kalijuga Balapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Parapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Parapadakamalam Kandita Kalijuga Janamala Samalam Sachinanda Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandaya Jaya Gaura Hari Hari Bol Hari Bol Nita Gaura Hari Bol Nita Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nita Gaura Hari Bol over the place already. All here.
The English. I offer prayers to the lotus feet of Lord Vishwamhara, who removes who removes the refuge from the hearts of the people of Kali Yuga. He attracts his honeybee-like followers with with his sweet fragrance, merciful, removing their anguish of separation from him. With his effulgence, he destroys the darkness of Maya's illusions, which has covered the hearts of the living entity since time immemorial. He is forever resplendent with incomparable beauty. Radha Moda Das feels an intense eagerness to attain his shelter.
Page 61. Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani Anya Primera Vasailo
Nitai Gunamari Nitai
Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai
Oh, Sarada? That's big. That's big.
Nitai is a jewel of all virtues. My Nitai is a jewel of all virtues. He has inundated the entire world with a flood of divine love, prema. Nitai has come to the land of Gauda, Bengal, bringing that flood of prema. The devotees are submerged in it, but I, the wretched and with the wretched and lowly remain floating. He does not discriminate against the wretched, lowly, fallen, and sinful. He freely offers to everyone the prema that is so rare that it is difficult for even Lord Brahma to attain. By cutting a channel in a dam, holding the unlimited ocean of mercy, Nitai has caused a flood of nectarian prema to surge in each and every house. Lochan Das says, whoever has not worshipped my Nitai knowingly commits suicide.
Page 70. Sachidanandana Imana Sachidananda Sachidanandana
Sachidānandana Vide Sachidānandana Vide Prema bolino atiyadbhuta Shudhavaichokaya adi Chiranandana Vide Krishna Sakuna Eva Janai Ara Vajanaito Radhara Madhurya Rasa Jasa Jamata Taranubhav Santi Kavikan Taranubhav Santi Kavikan Gocharachilo Matara Gocharachilo Matara Emun Sachidanandana Vide Sachidanandana Vide Emun Sachidanandana Raja Jepila Prema Raja Jepila Trasamaya Prema Parakiyata Gopira Mahima Vyavicharisima धन्य निताय चैतन्य परम करुणा कोई धन्य निताय चैतन्य परम करुणा कोई जे प्रेम विकार विद्या गोचर जे प्रेम विद्या गोचर जे प्रेम विकार आकाशे जगत উত্তময়া ধম কিছু না পাছিল যাচিয়ে দিলে কখন for the son of Mother Sachi, who could have heard about that extraordinarily wonderful thing called praying? Who could have announced the glorious qualities of the holy names of Sri Krishna? Who could have entered into the supreme sweetness of the forests of Vrindadevi? Who could have told us about the wondrous glories of the exceedingly sweet, transcendental mellows that Sri Radha experiences? Who could have understood what she experienced or her ecstatic bodily transformations? Who could have thoroughly understood the amorous pastimes of Braj, the great Ras Lila, the fundamental truths of paramour love, Parakya Prem, the glories of the gopis, and the limits of spiritual emotions? By bestowing the greatest mercy, Sri Nitai and Sri Chaitanya have made this blessed age of Kali supremely glorious. They have filled the world with revelations of Prem and its transformations, which are beyond the comprehension of even Lord Brahma. Without discrimination between the elevated and the fallen, they freely embrace everyone. Premananda says, hold that Gauranga within your heart. That's okay. Any advice? Gotta be going on and I think that's important, but that's all right. It is. Page 68. Okay.
84.
Jadi Gauranga nahi to tabe ki hoi to ki mon dori to de. Jadi Gauranga nahi to tabe ki hoi to ki mon dori to Radha Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagat Jana To Ke Prema Rasa Sima Jagat Jana To Madhura Bimba Bipira Madhuri Pravesha Chaturi Sa Varada Duvati Avera Bhakati Avera Bhakati Jajubati Avera Bhakati Shakati गाओ पुनः पुनः गौरांगेरा गुना सरला होइया Naginu Kalia, Monarino, Hariya, Pashanadiya. Gauranga Hari Gota Mani Hari Jaya Gaura Hari Hari Bol, If Sri Gauranga had not appeared, then what would have become of all of us? How would we have survived? Who could have taught the world about the glories of Srimati Radharani and the topmost limit of Premaras? Who would have had the true insight to enter the sweet rapture of the forest of Vrinda Devi and the power to render loving service in the mood of the damsels of Braj? With a simple heart, always sing about Gauranga's glorious qualities. I cannot see even one person as compassionate as he in this ocean of material existence. Even though I chant Gauranga, my heart has not melted. How can I continue to maintain this body? How has Narahari been created with a stone in the place of a heart? Jai. Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki.
Page 123. Let me know. Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore
Radha Krishna Prana Mora Radha Kishore Shivane Parane Gati Aranai Mora Ivane Marane Gati Aranai Kali Rakule Kali Kadaveravana Ande Nore Kali Kadaveravana Ratana Vedira Upa Vashabhudu Jana Shama Gauri Ange Nimo Shiva Chandra Shama Gauri Ange Nimo Shandana Chamara Dulamo Kami Eri Pomuka Chanda Radha Krishna Prana Radha Kishore Radha Krishna Prana Gatiya Malavira Nivadohagane Adhare Tuliya Divo Kakura Tampule Lalita Vishaki Adi Yato Saki Vrinda. Lalita Vishaki Adi. Yato Saki Vrinda. Agnaya Korimo Seva Charanara Vinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nataranuda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nataranuda. Seva Vinasha Kare Karotamasa. Seva Vinasha Kare Karotamasa. Radha Krishna Bhanda Radha Kishore Radha Krishna Bhanda Radha Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Hare Nahi Mo Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Sachinanda Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinanda Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinanda Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinanda Jaya Gaura Hari Bonita Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nita Gaura Hari Bo. The youthful divine couple Shri Shri Radha Krishna are my life and soul. In life and in death I have no shelter other than them. On the banks of the Kalindi, in the Kadamba Grove meant for amorous sporting, I will seat them both upon a jeweled throne. I will anoint their dark and golden limbs with a sandal paste scented with chua, and then fan them with a chamara. Oh, when will I behold their moon-like faces? After stringing together garlands of malati flowers, I will place them around both their necks. I will then place tambul, flavored with camphor, in their lotus mouths. On the order of Lalita, Vishaka, and the other Sakis, I will serve their lotus feet. Narottam Das, servant of the servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yearns for service to the divine couple. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Tasya Jnananandakaya Chakshurunmiलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरवे गुरुचन्द्राय ग्रहाय युगाय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो यं प्रव्रजन्तं मनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विराहा तरुवाजुहावा पुष्पेरितं माता सर्वोपनिषु तं सर्वभूतानि मुनिमानतोऽस्मि भक्त्यादिना अपराधलक्ष्ये चित्तस्य कामादि परं ब्रह्मण्य कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपद्य वृन्दे नमस्ते शरणारविन्दम् Tavayasmi, Tavayasmi, Najivami Kambina, Iti Vikyaya Radhe, Kam Nayamam Sharanam. Page 19 in the songbook. Navina Sri Bhaktim, Navakanaka Gaura Kritipatim, Navaranya Shreni Navasurasuri Vajabalitam Navina Shrirata Harirasamayo Kirtanavidi Navadvipam Vande Navakaranam Navarishi. I worship Sri Navadvip Dham, where Krishna appeared in a golden form to bestow that bhakti which has never been given before, where the newly arisen forest has become all the more beautiful due to the flowing of the Ganges River with her cool and gentle breezes, where Srimati Radhika and Sri Hari have appeared in a new combined form to give that kirtan which is saturated with ras, and where the ever-fresh, new taste of the original mellow, that is Shringar Ras or amorous ras, is mercifully bestowed. So, of course, today is Gaura Purnima, the divine appearance day of the Kali Yuga Pavana, the savior of all the fallen souls in this degraded age of quarrel and hypocrisy, where he appeared in the womb, in the ocean of the womb of Sri Sachi Devi, resplendent with the color of molten gold. And the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita is blessing us all by saying, may he be forever manifest in the deepest, most region of your heart. That is Krishna, covered by the complexion or imbued with the complexion and mood of Srimati Radhika. So he came for many reasons, and then there are prominent reasons. The prominent reasons, there are two internal prominent reasons, internal and two external. The internal reasons are what he wanted to get out of it, or what was in relation to him himself, and the external reasons are what he wanted to give the world. So the internal primary reason is to fulfill Krishna's three desires, which although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not fulfill as Krishna. That is, he wanted to understand the glory of Srimati Radhika's love, which is so profound that it actually drives him mad. Krishna himself thought, I am uh, Premananda, Premananda Moy. I'm the uh, reservoir, the ocean of transcendental love and happiness. Still, I don't know what is the extent of the love of Srimati Radhika. One drop of my happiness at the ocean of unlimited happiness can drown the whole universe. But I am bewildered in trying to assess the greatness of Srimati Radhika's love, which drives me mad. And he gives the example that her love is his master, dancing master, and the dance of love or prem, divine love for Krishna. And I am her dancing pupil. Her love causes me to dance many novel dances that sit up, sit down, stand up, do this, do that. I'm completely controlled, just as um, flying leaves in the wind are completely controlled by the wind. And the other desire that Krishna could not fulfill, he tried many ways. He put on various disguises so that Radhika wouldn't recognize him, and so that he could incognito find out what is the nature of her love. There's one very beautiful book called Prem Samput, where Krishna disguised himself as as a lady demigod, a demigoddess, and called Krishna himself bad names, just so that Radha could defend him, defend Krishna to this demigoddess. And she said, I'm going to open up my prem locket, the locket that I have on my heart, that will explain to you that even though it seems that Krishna has so many beloveds, really I'm his only beloved. And the whatever obstacle I face in meeting with him just increases the happiness, increases my happiness, and increases his happiness. It's the opposite of how everything is in the material world. So even though she explained everything to him, he still couldn't feel it, the greatness of her love and why it controls him so deeply. Then the other reason was that he himself, although he's known as Atmaram, which means he takes pleasure in his own self. He doesn't need to get any pleasure anywhere else. And he's Aptakam, which means all of his desires have been fulfilled. So he takes pleasure in himself. He knows himself, but he doesn't he doesn't know himself with the full realization that and fullness that Srimati Radhika knows him and relishes his qualities, his beauty, the beauty of his form, and his flute playing. His qualities, his the beauty of his form, his pastimes of love, and his flute playing. He himself can't relish that as much as she does. And the other thing, the other desire that he couldn't fulfill, even though he's the supreme reservoir of all existence and everything is within him, still he couldn't understand the happiness that she experiences in their loving affairs, which is 10 million times greater than the happiness he experiences. So he wanted to taste that happiness, that um, his potency, his bliss potency tastes. The bliss potency, called Hladini Shakti, is within him. And then she comes out in order to engage in loving pastimes. But even though she's from within him, she is just as inconceivable as he is, including being inconceivable to him. That even though her love is unlimited, it expands unlimitedly at every moment. So, in order to taste the fulfillment of these three desires, another way to put it is that he is called Ekaras and Anekaras. Ekaras means that everything is within him. There's nothing that he's not aware of. At the same time, he's Anekaras. That means there's some things that he doesn't know. Why? Because he is the object of love. He's not the reservoir of love, he's the object. And he can't fully taste the awareness and the pleasure that the reservoir of love tastes. Does that make sense? That's why we have Giriraj, that Giriraj Govardhan on the altar. And there's two ways that he can be worshipped. One way as Krishna himself, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the object of love. And the other way is as Haridasa Varya, which means the supreme devotee of Sri Krishna. So one hand is Krishna and on the other hand is the devotee. And Srila Gurudev explained that we get much more from him if we worship him as a devotee, because the devotee can help us taste the devotion that Krishna can't. He only knows what it's like to be the taster. So, the first primary internal reason is that he wanted to fulfill these three desires. Now, Krishna is called, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's called Gaura Hari. What does that mean? Gaura Hari. He's called Gauranga, which means he has golden limbs. He's called Gaura Sundar, which means he's a very beautiful golden complexion. When he was born, he was named Nimai because he was born under a neem tree. But why is he called Gaura Hari?
The golden thief.
He's called the golden thief, but he's really not. because Srimati Radhika is the embodiment of all his 6 opulences. In order to be God, he has to have 6 opulences: all beauty, all wealth, all strength, all knowledge, all fame, and all renunciation. So, because Srimati Radhika is the embodiment of his potency, she's the intrinsic potency, and his other potencies extend from her. So, one of his potencies, as mentioned, is knowledge, right? So, if she's the embodiment of his being all knowing, that means that she's all knowing. And because she's all knowing, he can't steal anything from her. She's too aware, she's too astute. So, in a Wales lecture, Gurudev said that he had to ask Srimati Radhika, can I please borrow your mood and your complexion so that I can fulfill these 3 desires? She said, yes, I can lend it to you, but I'm going to have to come and help you to taste that fulfillment. So I'm coming as Gadadhar. Well, first I'm coming as my associates, Lalita and Vishaka. Lalita will come as Swarup Damodar, and whenever he knows you want to develop a certain mood playing my role, he will recite so many verses of his own writing and verses from scripture. And my Saki Vishaka Devi, she will do the same thing. So we find in Gaura Lila that they are both enhancing his mood, helping him. Because Lalita and Vishaka, they know Radharani's mood. They taste Radharani's mood more than he does. Even Vishaka was born on the same day, practically at the same time as her. So she has her qualities. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to go to Godavari and find out from Ramananda Rai what is the highest love, what is Radha Tattva, what is the mood of Srimati Radhika, and how can the living entities attain her service, which is the highest pinnacle of devotion. How? Because he is Vishaka. And then Radharani told him, and I'm also going to have to come myself to help you. So I will personally come as Gadadhar Pandit, who throughout helped him to play her role. So he couldn't actually be the thief of her mood and complexion. He borrowed it with her consent. So these 3 desires he fulfilled by her grace. And then the external primary reason is, I'm going to read this one verse that Sri Gurudev often explains. Prema ras niryas korite aswadam raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan. Dasika Shekara Krishna Parama Karun E Dui Hetu Hoite Ijtama Ukum. So, E Dui Hetu, for these 2 reasons. One is to taste the essence of the highest love of his greatest beloved. And second is because Krishna is Parama Karun. He is the supreme merciful. So he wanted to give service to his supreme beloved. That is, he wanted to give Radha Dasyam. That was his primary external reason. And incidentally, he also gave the other rasas, like Sakyaras, friendship, and paternal ras, Vatsalya ras, and servitude, or dasya ras. He gave them incidentally. All the other rasas serve Madhurya ras. In Krishna Lila, why does Krishna go out to tend the cows? He goes out to tend the cows so that he can get out of the house to meet with Srimati Radhika. And so the cows are helping. His mother is helping. All the other rasas, his friends are helping. Come on, Krishna, we're waiting for you to come out with us to graze the cows. So incidentally, although his main ambition was to give this, what's it called, Swabhakti Shriyam, to give this mood as a maidservant of Radhika, he incidentally gave all the other rasas. And there's a verse about that too. Anarpita charin charai, come on, karunayavatirnam kalo, samarpayitam unad ojularasa, swabhakti sriyam, hari purita sundara, tutikadamba sandipita, Sada Hridaya Kandare Spurituva Sachinandana. So he came to give what no other incarnation ever gave before. Does that mean it was never given before? No. What does it mean?
Long time.
What do you mean by this kalpa?
Now in this day of Brahma.
Not within this day of Brahma. Who gave it in the last day of Brahma? The same person. Just like Krishna, welcome. Just like Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma, so 4,500 years later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes once in a day of Brahma. So Anarpita Charim Charat. Acharat. Not for a very long time. Trillions and trillions of years. So it's so rare that we're coming into this line by the mercy of our Guru Varga. So Anarpita Charing Charat Karunayavatirnam Kalo. He descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to Unat Ojvala Rasam Samarpayitam, to give the most brilliant Madhurya Ras. But there are two kinds of Madhurya Ras. One is what he wants to taste, the love of Srimati Radhika. But he can't give that because that's only for him to taste. So he comes to give the service of Srimati Radhika. And again, may he be forever appear in the innermost regions of your heart. So there's many verses explaining why he came. Then Prema Ras Niryas Korite Aswadan Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Koriche Pucharan Samarpayitam Unat Ojala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam. Sriyam means beauty, and Shriyam also means treasure. The treasure is usually locked, right? Treasure chest is usually locked. So, what is the secret thing that he came to give? It's the beauty of Srimati Radhika's love. The example is given of a creeper. The creeper is blowing in the air makes the creeper blow. If the creeper were naked, if it didn't have any leaves and flowers and mungery, then the air wouldn't be attracted to play with that creeper. So Radhika alone is the creeper of divine love, but uh, that love would not be able to be nourished without her sakis, unlimited sakis, and unlimited maidservants. Another example, oh, and in that analogy, the 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 flowers and the leaves get much more enjoyment by being part of the creeper than they do to fly themselves. Isn't that true? Um, Another example is the bee. The bee plays with the flower, but it can't play with the stamen of the flower because the stamen that's coming up because it keeps moving. Whereas the flower itself, the bee can sit on and drink the honey. Similarly, the Krishna bee can't can't enjoy or taste the honey, can't sit on the stamen. So the manjaris are like that moving stamen on top of the flower. Always no, no, no. Always no to Krishna. Whereas the flower is stationary and the bee can play there. So the maidservants of Srimati Radhika have zero interest in any personal relationship. Well, what are we doing if we're not doing our practices for a personal relationship with Krishna? Isn't that the goal of life? Isn't that why Krishna created us? So, no, the highest pinnacle of devotion of the living entity, and Krishna created the taste for that at the time of creating us souls. The highest taste is the taste of assisting Srimati Radhika in her giving pleasure to Krishna and her tasting pleasure as a result of that. They're not interested in their own relationship. If Krishna wanted to approach one of those maidservants, and he does, like Rupa Manjari, she says, why are you trying to give me this lesser pleasure of directly embracing me, kissing me? And why do you want to taste the lesser pleasure? I feel my highest happiness in uniting you and Radhika, and you also feel your highest pleasure in that. So this is the treasure, the hidden treasure that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. Everything else he did incidentally. Nothing else was his primary reason. Like he debated with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He debated with others. He delivered Jagai and Madhai. So all of these are not the real reasons that he came. Everything else was incidental. Just like Krishna, he didn't come for the sake of killing the demons. That was all incidental. And it was his Vishnu incarnations within him that killed all the demons. So why did he come? To display his Rasa Leela, to attract all living entities to that. But then we find out the secret later that he didn't um, he didn't want us to be such participants in the Rasa Leela that we would be dancing with Krishna. Rather, he wanted to give us the bliss of Rasa Leela so that we can serve Srimati Radhika in that rasa dance. For example, um, in the flurry of the dance, Radhika's ankle bells will fall away and go to a distance. So her maidservant will, how do you say it, quick as a wink? Um, in the blink of an eye, yeah, will find that ankle bell, put it back on Srimati Radhika, so there's no note missed in the dance. Or they will play musical instruments and they will sing, but they're not at all interested in dancing personally with Krishna. So this is the great treasure that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, the highest pinnacle of devotion. And then there's an external, two secondary reasons. One is the internal reason, and one is the external reason. The internal reason, secondary, was the call of Advaita Acharya, who is none other than Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu has two aspects, a instrumental and ingredient, where he desires to create, and then the ingredients are there for creating the cosmic manifestation. So Advaita Acharya is that ingredient aspect of Mahavishnu. And he was saying he appeared considerably before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was saying that that was 500 years ago. How many years does Kali Yuga have? 4,300,000? 400, 432,000. So, what?
I thought you meant how many left.
I'm sorry?
I thought you meant how many years left.
Yeah, 427,000 years left. So he could have come at the end when Kali Yuga was so bad that if you live for 50 years, 30 years, you're a ripe old man. And everyone was killing everybody, everyone was eating everybody. But because of the call of Advaita Acharya 500 years ago, Krishna came 5,000 years ago, and 500 years ago, Advaita Acharya called that if you don't come, I'm going to destroy the whole universe, even though it's not the time, because everyone is so sinful. So his calling, how did he call? By having, worshiping the Shalagram Shila. Like you can see next to Giriraj Govardhan is a Shalagram Shila, which means a stone that's actually an incarnation of Krishna himself. So Advaita Acharya had a Shalagram Shila, and he worshipped that Shila with Ganges water and Tulsi manjaris, and called, and he shook the throne of Lord Narayan. And Krishna, who's anyway thinking, I have to come back, because he came 5,000 years ago, and he's thinking, but I have to come back because I didn't really do what I wanted to do when I came. I gave Varnashram Dharma to bring the human society up to humanity instead of animal life. And I taught the world how to worship me in awe and reverence. But such worship, it kind of pleases me, but I'm not astonished by it. I want to give that kind of love where I am personally astonished and I will faint. So therefore, he came to give that uh, spontaneous love, Ragamarga Bhakti, or Rupa Nuga Bhakti, which would actually give the jivas the very highest service. Like, for example, one of these paintings of the Manjaris here, when he sees her, her braid, which is like a snake, is kind of like flying as she's dancing, as she's walking. And so that snake bites Krishna and he practically faints in enchantment. That's the kind of love he came to give. And he knew that now I'm going to come now when he came 500 years ago, because that's when Advaita Charya is calling to fulfill the desire of his dear devotee. And then the secondary external reason is to establish the Yuga Dharma. And there are 4 ages. Satya Yuga, it was meditation. The way to reach God in that age was meditation. Because people could live for 50,000, 100,000 years, and they had very controlled minds. Then in Treta Yuga, the means was big sacrifices, because everyone was rich. And in Dwapara Yuga, it was temple worship. But in this age of Kali, Prayanal Apayaya Shabda, Kalabasmin Jagaya Janaha, Mandak Sumanda Matayo, Mandabhagya Hipatrutaha. What's the qualities of the age of quarrel and hypocrisy? What are the qualities of the people in this age? Anybody? Huh? Huh?
Men have short lives.
Very short lives.
Everyone's fighting.
Hmm?
Everyone's fighting in every moment.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy, bad memories,
Hypocrisy, quarrel.
constantly disturbed.
Always disturbed.
And they all have good and evil within them.
Yeah, but it's talking about the verse though. Oh, you're all absolutely right.
Bad memory.
Prayanal means the life, the prana is very short. Ayusha, life is very short. Kalavas men jugay janaha, in this age of Kali, they're misguided, always disturbed. And what was the other one?
Make mistakes.
Unlucky, very unlucky, misguided, always disturbed. So, in the age of Kali, the process for attaining God is only one. What is that? Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Deva Kedava. Kalo Nasyeva, 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 Katir Ananta. There's no other means than the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name. The Sankirtan movement. Those who are engaged in the Sankirtan movement, it's described in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, have very good brains. And those who don't accept the Sankirtan movement have brains made of,
Cow dung.
yeah, mushy cow dung.
Which isn't so bad, but.
Huh?
Cow dung is.
Cow dung is good unless your brain is made of it.
That part.
That is an excellent quote.
Okay, so in Kali Yuga, the religious principle of the age is chanting the holy name. But in previous thousands and millions of Kali Yugas, Lord Vishnu came, golden Vishnu form came to establish the religious principles. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, because he came for that purpose, he gave that through the chanting of the holy name. He gave Braj prem through the chanting of the holy name. And like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, when they would be engaged in Sankirtan, they would be completely absorbed, forgetting their bodies, as you have heard in many of the kirtans. They completely forgot their body, they were drenched in tears, they were embracing each other, but completely forgetting their bodies and never getting tired or doing all day, all night Sankirtan because their bodies were transcendental. And Mahaprabhu and his associates, while they were engaged in their own eightfold pastimes, sometimes doing Nagar Sankirtan here, sometimes there, sometimes taking his prasadam with the devotees, but he was always engaged in thinking of Radha and Krishna's eightfold pastimes, Astakaliya Lila, from their waking until their waking. He was always absorbed in that. And that's what he came to give us, the fortunate jivas. Means who has that mood in our soul, which Krishna gave us the seed of at the time of creation. Those are fortunate jivas. So who has that swarup in his soul and his heart, Lord Chaitanya came to give that particular highest devotion. But incidentally, he gave everything else to everyone else, whether they were qualified or unqualified. So we only have a couple of more minutes before we all participate in the bathing ceremony of Mahaprabhu at the time of his appearance. So the devotees have been fasting until moonrise. The moonrise is around 7:10. So I want to just, we're going to be singing this kirtan during the bathing ceremony. And most of the time, the devotees don't know what they're singing. They're just looking at the paper and singing. So I'm going to read the translation, and wherever there's a need, I will explain something in brief. And this kirtan is actually from Chaitanya Charitamrita. These 17 volumes, you can see most of them up there on the shelf. 17 volumes that are most merciful, glorious spiritual master Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, translated into English. And like everybody was just a bunch of, drugged out hippies. And he brought them all into the reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was incredible how he did that. And is still doing it. So the full moon of Sri Gaura Hari mercifully rose over Nadia, Navadvip. Nadia means Achudvip, where he actually appeared. He was likened to a mountain from where the sun rises. As the universe was filled with the chanting of the holy name of Sri Hari, the darkness of sinful life dissipated and the three worlds became jubilant. He decided to appear on the full moon evening, because at that time in India, on the full moon, millions and millions of residents would go to the Ganges and bathe and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So everything was booming with the Hare Krishna mantra, millions of people. So at that time, Sri Advaita Acharya, who originally called for the Lord, in his own house in Shantipur, stood up and began to dance completely overjoyed, accompanied by Sri Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is a combination of Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Brahma. And he came to this world with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a little before in order to be his great assistant and become the Nam Acharya, to teach everyone by his own example how to chant the holy name. He chanted 194 rounds a day. He roared in the exultation of kirtan. No one knew why they were dancing, but they knew because they knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming. Seeing the lunar eclipse, on one hand it's the full moon, isn't it? Gaura Purnima, and on the other hand, it was a lunar eclipse at that time, and that's why everyone went to bathe in the Ganges.
It's happening right now. Tonight we have an eclipse.
Happening right now,
No, it's happening at 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Okay.
It's very special.
So seeing the lunar eclipse and laughing, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur quickly arrived on the bank of the Ganges, where, in ecstasy, they bathed. Under the pretext of the eclipse, Advaita Acharya distributed abundant charity to the Brahmanas by the strength of his mind. Well, why not? Why couldn't he do that? He supplied all the ingredients of the whole cosmic manifestation. Upon seeing the entire universe overflowing with joy, Haridas Thakur's heart was struck with wonder. Through his gestures, he expressed to Advaita Acharya, "Your jubilance is delighting my heart. It appears that some special fortune is upon us." Chandrasekhar and Srivas Thakur were also elated at heart. Arriving at the Ganga, they bathed in her waters. Can you picture that? Millions of people in the Ganges. With hearts overwhelmed with joy, they performed Hari Sankirtan and mentally distributed profuse amounts of charity. And if they're mentally doing it, it's really happening, not just make believe in their mind. In this way, devotee sannyasis in various places, wherever they happen to be, intuited what had transpired. They danced in Sankirtan, their hearts overwhelmed with joy, and they distributed charity on the pretext of the eclipse. Is the eclipse supposed to be inauspicious? So therefore, the counteraction of that is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. But this one was the most auspicious, and that's why they were giving in charity. The Brahmanas, gentlemen and their wives, all came with plates filled with gifts and various presentation. Seeing the form of the newborn child, who was radiant like pure gold, they happily offered their blessings. And a lot of these brahmanas and gentlemen and their wives, they were actually demigods and demigoddesses from the heavenly planets who disguised themselves as brahmanas and gentlemen and their wives, just so they could come and visit and be there at that auspicious moment. Savitri, now we're speaking about ladies. Savitri, Gauri, Saraswati, Sachi, Ramba, Arundhati, these are all celestial ladies. And other demigoddesses assumed the disguise of the wives of the demigods, of the brahmanas, and filled vessels with various types of gifts for the Lord. They all came and beheld the child. In the sky, the demigods, the siddhas, Gandharvas, Charanas, these are all personalities with mystic powers that can fly from one higher planet to another. They could fly and sing and play their instruments at the same time. They all offered prayers and danced to the accompaniment of musical instruments and song. In Navadvip, dancers, musicians, minstrels, and other performers all came and danced with great delight. Who was coming? Who was going? Who was dancing? Who was singing? No one could understand, nor could they understand what anyone was saying. All sorrow and suffering melted away. We can't even imagine not having sorrows and suffering. They all melted away, and everyone became filled with joy. Seeing all this, Jagannath Mishra was also overwhelmed with ecstasy. Acharya Ratna and Srivas Thakur, great pure devotees, came to Jagannath Mishra, the father of little newborn baby Nimai Pandit, Nimai, not Pandit yet, and they carefully helped him perform the birth rituals. Thereafter, Jagannath Mishra distributed many types of charity. Whatever gifts Jagannath Mishra had received and whatever he had in his house, he distributed all his wealth to the brahmanas, the priestly or scholarly class, because then the householder gets lots of good luck. He also honored all the dancers, the singers, the minstrels, and the poor by donating riches to them. The chaste wife of Srivas Thakur, named Malini, we've been hearing a lot about Malini in the last week, accompanied by the wife of Acharya Ratna, worshipped the baby with vermilion, turmeric, oil, puffed rice, bananas, and many other kinds of fruits in great delight. The wife of Advaitacharya, a noble woman, adored by all, and renowned as Sita Thakurani, went to see that crest jewel of children at her husband's request with various gifts, amazing gifts, a golden belt, silver toe rings, armlets, bracelets, sacred conch shell bangles for both hands, silver anklets, and necklaces made of gold coins. Also lots of very opulent cloths, tiger nails, I like that one, set in gold, a silken waist belt, every kind of ornament for the hands and feet, multicolored silken saris, a small woven sleeveless jacket, you know how they wear in India, silken shawls, gold and silver coins, and many other riches. Bringing a container filled with fresh grass, paddy, garochana. Garochana is, um, garochana comes from the hoof of a cow, and at the Swati Nakshatra, a certain constellation, from the hoof of the cow comes a very brilliant gold. That's the color of Radhika Saki, Lalita, and all other auspicious items, as well as a large basket filled with garments. Can somebody go to Adi Lila Volume 2, if we have it, to the beginning of the book where the pictures are, the paintings? And we can see a placeholder of what that looks like.
Opa.
She rode on a palanquin covered with cloth and was accompanied by her maidservants and attendants. She came on a palanquin. Prabhupada wrote in the purport, so that this was written like 50 years ago or more. And he said 50 years ago, that means 100 years ago, the ladies wouldn't even go to visit a neighbor without being on a palanquin, and then the palanquin also had like curtains that were covering the spaces so that no lusty man would look at them. They'd be protected because all the ladies were honored by their family, and so to protect them from the the looks of a lusty man, which can take their energy. That's why Srila Bhaktivedanta Siddharthi Maharaj told one of his newly initiated, second initiated disciples, so the more you cover, the more power you have. The more protected you are. She arrived at the house of Sachi Devi, bringing with her a large load of snacks. Do you see it? Chapter, the second volume.
No, I didn't see the second volume.
Oh, because the first volume only goes up to chapter 6.
Which,
This is around chapter 12, so it should be in the
you're looking for the
second volume.
the
I didn't
paintings,
that.
right?
Huh?
The paintings?
Yeah. Oh, you can also get it from the art book. Let's just do that.
You want to see the Thakurani?
Yes. Upon seeing the form of the child, she understood that, except for the difference in color. Oh yeah, you found it. Can you show it to everybody? You can see there's the baby, Nimai, on the reason that he was named Nimai, he was born under a neem tree, and the taste of the neem leaf is very bitter. So he was named Nimai because just to ward off ghosts by the presence of that neem tree. Of course, not that he needs that, but he's engaging in his human-like pastimes. So Sita came, and she understood that except for the difference in color, that is Mahaprabhu, not Mahaprabhu, Nimai, was golden and Krishna was bluish. They looked exactly the same. She understood that he was exactly Krishna of Goloka Vrindavan himself. All of his limbs were beautifully formed, glowing with a golden effulgence, and they displayed auspicious signs. Seeing the divine effulgence of the child, she and the other ladies accompanied her became enamored, and their hearts melted with motherly love. They gave many blessings. Can you tell me when you're ready with the bathing? They gave many blessings to the newborn child and his older brother Viswarup by placing fresh grass and paddy on their heads. That's how you give blessings. It's one of the ways. Fresh grass and paddy on the head, and then you bless with rice and turmeric. May you two brothers live long to ward off any fear of ghosts and witches because of the eclipse. So this was to counteract the eclipse. That's why we're not supposed to look at an eclipse. She gave him the name Nimai after the neem tree under which he was born. On the day the mother and son bathed and left the maternity house, Sita Thakurani honored the Misras, like the Smiths, the last names Misras, because he was Jagannath Misra, by giving them various garments and ornaments. Then, having received the respects of both Sachi and Jagannath Misra, the feeling very joyful at heart, Sachi left. In this way, Sachi Devi and Jagannath Misra, having obtained the husband of the goddess of fortune as their son, had all their desires, you can imagine, had all their desires fulfilled. Seeing their home full of riches and grains, and graced by the venerable form of their son, that they just couldn't understand what was happening because Like when he was little and he could finally crawl, um, they could see his footprints and the bottom of his soles with the signs of Vishnu, all those auspicious signs on his feet. No, just, I'm sorry, not on his soles, but on the ground, his footprints. And they couldn't understand that it was their own son who made the form, the footprints of Lord Vishnu. Jagannath Mishra was an ideal Vaishnava, peaceful, regulated, pure, and composed. He was not inclined to indulge in any material opulence. Whatever wealth he received due to the birth of his darling boy, he distributed in charity to the Brahmins for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. After making the astrological calculations, her father, Sachi Devi's father, Nilambara Chakravarti, became very pleased and spoke something in private to Jagannath Mishra. On his body and in his astrological chart, this boy has all the signs of a great personality. I see that he will deliver the entire universe. And for that, his name became Visvambar. And how does he deliver them? By giving the highest Krishna prema that even Lord Brahma can't attain. In this way, the Lord mercifully made his advent in the house of Sachi Devi. The most compassionate Sri Gaurahari shall bestow his mercy upon that person who hears this narration. That person shall attain Sri Gaurahari's lotus feet. The birth of one who has attained a human form, but who does not hear the glories of Sri Gaurahari, is utterly useless. Despite having attained a river of nectar, he drinks water from a poisonous pit. That's why we want to really distribute these glories of Gaurahari. Why did he just die at birth? There's no use to his life. Placing the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu Acharya, Advaita Chandra, Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami upon my head. This is how Krishna Das Kaviraj ended every chapter of this divine book. Who wrote this book? Madan Mohan Deity just dictated, and Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami wrote. So, placing the lotus feet of all these personalities upon his head, regarding them as his own wealth. Do you have any money, Kadavaja? How much do you have? Wrong. Your wealth is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dvaitacharya, Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami. That's the second time you got the wrong answer. How much is that? Huh? Paramadana Radha. She's my only wealth. Regarding them as my own wealth, this Krishna Das has thus described the Advent pastime of Sri Gaurasundar. Gaura Purnima indeed. So now I think the bathing is ready. Okay, so now the deities are coming off the altar and onto their bathing place. How many do we have of this? A lot. We have a lot. Yeah, but then there's friends who can share.
What was Gaurahari mean?
We can put it on the projector as well.
Gaurahari, I thought we explained that at the beginning.
Not stealing, borrowing.
Yeah, borrowing. Gaurahari means Krishna who borrowed the complexion and mood of Srimati Radhika. Okay, so now it's time for us all to stand up. And what's going to happen is the the brothers who are the pujaris, they're going to be passing around um, a plate full of ghee wicks. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then everyone will get a chance to offer the arti to Lord Nimai, and then everybody will get an opportunity to bathe. No problem. Okay.
भजो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर Nadia Udaya Giri Purnachandri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Nadia Uday
And we have a sign.
Can someone hold the sign up higher? Can someone hold the sign up?
I'll hold it. Lyrics.
She got it.
She's holding up the sign, and now we're doing arti, offering auspicious items to the deities for our own auspiciousness in our life. So who's leading?
Very good.
Okay.
I can, but I think Radhika's better.
Yeah, Radhika, sing.
Kiva Jaya Jaya Gaura
Jai Shishi Guru Brahmanamaki Shishi Radhanamli Radharamani Yuki Jai Shil Gurudev Ki Jai Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shila Bhakti Murti Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupsanatha Mataragnath Jiva Gopala Bhatta Raghunath Sato Swami Prabhu Ki Jai Praise to go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai Shri Gaura Purnima Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gaura Dasanaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai Shama Kundara Kunjumana Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Nishika Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhagavad Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Nishika Jagannath Bali Subhaja Sudarshan Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Chatradam Ki Jai Shri Sacred Vedic Arts Ki Jai Shri Mati Sharmani Dini Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Vedanta Sanatana Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Gandhara Shiva Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Tanya Chartamrita Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Gaura Purnima Jai, everybody, all glories to all the wonderful, beautiful souls here tonight to celebrate this most auspicious occasion. Shri Gaura Purnima, thank you so much for coming. We will have prasadam in the back. I know maybe there's not enough seating space. We'll figure it out though. It'll expand. So if everyone sits in the back, we need 4 servers or 5 servers. Also, just wanted to do a quick announcement. Everyone, we have 2 really big events coming up. April 5th is the Sea Dance, the Celestial Dancers coming from Jagannath Puri. And if you get your tickets tonight and you see Radhika, she'll give you a discount code. And then on April 19th, we have our Color Fest at Hullover Park up in North Miami. And those tickets are also inexpensive. It's on the Eventbrite. So, yeah. And we have books and art, gift shop. And if you'd like to make a donation, just a general donation to the temple, it's always most welcome. Very high cost of living here in this most beautiful area, the Design District. And tomorrow, Friday night kirtan, so 6 to 8:30, and Sunday, Sacred Sunday program. Warfare Monday.
Babysitter dog.
Thank you. I feel like I can pull out.